Are you trying to say pingo? Are you saying apple? Are you saying apple? You know what I mean? They're like, can you just, you want to say it? Can you say it or not? You say it? Can you say the thing? Just say the thing. A quick question about speaking to natives. So you talk to natives. Who were you talking to then? When you say talk to natives?
So when I first came here, like a couple of days after I arrived, I just got lucky. I was living like in an Airbnb, and just under the Airbnb there was a traditional market. And so I would go there, and it was like amazing because I would go there and like there was just all this food I could try, and also like all these people that I could potentially practice and talk to. And so I knew going there, like we mentioned this before the podcast, like I didn't want to speak to any foreigners, so I wanted to try my best to meet as many locals as possible and speak to only locals. And so almost every day I was trying to I want to experience the food there too. So every day I was trying to try different foods, and also like talk to the aunties and the people selling the fruits. And so I met some friends, like for example, I met like one of my good friends. He sells he has a fruit stand, so he sells fruits, and so I just started talking to him. I started asking him, like, you know, what are these called? Like what fruit is this? Like, what's the name of this? And so I just got lucky. He was like very passionate, enthusiastic, and when he found out like I was from Canada, he was like, he's just like, whoa, so cool. And then he asked me like, oh, do you play basketball? And we started playing basketball together, and then he started inviting me to his dinners like with his other friends, and then we started talking more and more. And I remember during that time, a lot of the time, like he was speaking to his friends, and like we're even speaking to me, and I would not understand a lot at all, and we would be like using Google Translate all the time, like trying to figure out what each other was like, what we were all saying. And I remember that vividly. And slowly I just got more and more as he was just speaking more and more. But I think that was really helpful for me, because there's some talk about like language parents. I don't know if you've heard that term, but it's someone like who really is patient with you and is teaching you, but is very patient with you. And I think that's what he was to me. And then there was another person who was very instrumental, but yeah, I can talk about her too.
Okay. So the language parent thing comes from a guy called Chris Lonsdale, who was actually on our podcast. He's a psychologist and a polyglot, I think.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So someone who's very patient with you, kind of treats you like a child, but not in a patronizing way.
Right.
They work really hard to figure out what you're saying. Yeah. And this, that's the best way. I agree with you as well. You have to find someone like that.
It was amazing.
But also I think this is where partners fail in a way,
right?
Because they're not that patient, and they're not really interested. I don't know if they're not really interested in what you're saying, but do you know what I mean? They're not really trying to find out, like, are you trying to say pingo? Are you saying apple? Are you saying apple? You know what I mean? They're like, can you just, you want to say it? Can you say it or not? You say it? Can you say the thing? Just say the thing. You know what I mean? They're not
right.
Language parent, amazing. You started talking about, and then someone else who was really instrumental. Who's that?
And then in my second month here, I met Lao Ban Yang, who's like one of those aunties who owns a restaurant, like one of those like home restaurants, or like basically she was selling fried rice and like noodles, you know, like the typical like fried rice and noodles, and so that was my second place in, like, after I moved from the Airbnb, I found another place, and then under my building in the second place, there was this lady, this auntie, and I just met her, and it's just spontaneously we started talking. We just clicked, and I don't know, I ordered something and I made a mistake on the menu, and then she made a joke out of it.
Yeah.
And then we started talking more and more, and then we just connected, and we started, and we made a very deep connection, like, very quickly. I think initially there was a bit of, like, this is just from my, like, thinking about it, like analyzing it after, like, I think a little bit she wanted to set me up with her daughter, because her daughter was single at the time. Okay. And so she wanted to talk, but eventually, like, we just started talking more and more, and we started talking about her family, and I would talk to her, I'll tell her about my family, and I was talking about my family problems, and she would actually call my mom a couple times, and they would talk, and it was very interesting.
Okay, wait. So how did you? So I'm assuming all of this conversation is Dongwon.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the crazy part. So again, same with her. Like, a lot of it I did not understand, and she was also like a language parent. So like we would be using Google Translate, and she would just. So a lot of these people that I got really lucky with, they just love talking, and they wouldn't they wouldn't really care that I didn't understand everything, but they were very patient with me. And so they would talk a lot and I would just be soaking it all up, and I would understand like bits and pieces, and I would try to piece it together. And then also like whenever I heard like maybe something like I didn't really understand, like there was a lot I didn't understand, but maybe like one out of like 20 things that I didn't understand, I would say, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? Or I'll look it up. And so I would just pick and choose, and eventually I would sort of get the main idea and slowly get better and better. And with her, I was speaking to her every day for like 4 hours. So she would finish work at like 10 p.m. I would go to her store, and she would close up, and we would talk from like 10 to 2 a.m. And we're just like, and I would just be like listening to her.
How old was she? Is she?
She's probably like a little bit younger than my parents' age, but her children are like a little bit younger than me, so like mid-20s.
Her kids?
Oh yeah, her kids, yeah.
Okay, I thought she's mid-20s. Like,
oh, sorry, no, yeah. No, she's like, she's like my 60. She's my parents' age, yeah.
Okay, so she was trying to set you up with her daughter. I'm assuming your girlfriend is not her daughter.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, this was before I met my girlfriend. Yeah.
Right. So, what you said something fascinating back there. So, I did a very similar thing when I was over there. I met a girl over there, not for romance, actually, just kind of a friend, Taiwanese lady, girl who took me, which is really weird. I met her. It was like, hi, nice to meet you. She said, do you want to come for dinner with my family? I'm like, wait, what? What? Huh? So I did. I went to dinner with her family, sat around a big rotating spinning table, and they were all talking. I was like, I have no idea what any of you are saying to me. I got no idea. I'd been doing private lessons for a little while before I got to Taiwan, but I'd learned through like books, and I was used to book language. I was not ready for the Taiwanese accent. I was not ready for the fluidity of their language. I wasn't ready for that. And so I sat around just staring like a baby, like an idiot, looking at them like, oh, this is amazing. Like, I love the food. I love the atmosphere. All of you are smiling and happy and pointing at me occasionally. But I didn't really understand what's going on.
Right.
She would speak a little bit of English, but then I searched things on Pleco or something. I think, oh, they just said something that, is that dish? Like, I try and translate. Is that what you were doing with your friends?
Yeah, totally. The reason I loved talking to her was because it was like she was someone I would love to talk to in English too. Like, we were talking about like deep things. Like, she was a Buddhist, and she was trying to explain to me like we were talking about the meaning of life, and even though it was like a very deep topic, we were using like she was using like very simple language to try to explain it to me, and so but I would look up stuff all the time, like constantly on Pleco, and I would be like, oh, do you mean this? Do you mean this? And she would be like, no, not this. Let me write it for you, or like she would write it down, and so she was very patient. I think.
Wow. You were so lucky to find.
I was so lucky. Yeah.
You were so lucky to find like you're saying, like a language parent to sort of guide you through. So this really propelled your conversation.
Completely. Like, I don't know if I didn't meet her or my other friend, and I also met another language exchange who really, like, I just met a lot of really helpful people, and I don't know if my language would have progressed that well if it wasn't for these people.
So, side question, and I realize this is a slight digression. How have you found it living in Taiwan when you're speaking to the older generation and they mix in Taiwanese or just speak Taiwanese entirely?
Yeah, that's really tough. It's something that I think I wasn't really aware of initially, just because everything blurred together and everything was like, I didn't understand everything. So like, I didn't really realize like the Taiyu here and there. But now as my Mandarin is improving, I'm hearing it much more, like and so it's a challenge. But I mean, I feel like it's part of their culture, so it's something that I try to respect, and I try to learn, and I try to pick up the Taiyu here and there as much as I can. I find it like just another challenge. I don't think I'm. Yeah.
Sorry, I was going to say the challenge I've found is that you just kind of you touched on it. Then just you saying that because of the level of Mandarin, sometimes I've gone through where I've spoken to maybe someone who's slightly older, and they mix in a bit of Taiwanese in there somewhere, and I think to myself, is that Taiwanese or is that word I don't know in Mandarin? You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't, and then I have to work on it in my head, and then maybe afterwards try and remember it and go, Eula, is this, they said this, whatever it was, is that,
Yeah.
no, like, is it, do I not know? Because I don't know what that means. Is that, but yeah, okay. The final question on this, on the list is who or what has been the most influential to your learning journey? I know you've mentioned a lady in the noodle and rice shop.
Yeah.
Who's been very influential. Can you, is there anyone else who's been super influential to your journey so far?
I would say like, yeah, her for sure. Like pretty much like all the people that I met here, like all the people that spent a lot of time initially with me, like, so including her, the auntie, and then my friend who has that fruit stand. He taught to me a lot, especially early on as a language parent. And then I met a really cool language exchange who turned into a great friend, and I still talk to him today, and we chill all the time, and we grab coffee like almost every week. And so he helped me a lot. He brings me all the time to like different like markets, cultural events, and he just like shows me around all the time. And so he's been really helpful. So I think those three are like pretty influential, especially in the beginning when I first came here, to really get me on board. And
maybe Huang Laoshi.
Huang Laoshi, yeah, oh man, there's so many people that helped me. Like after I finished the 2 months in TLI, like I think she really like felt a connection with me or something, like she wanted to help me, and so she started giving me free classes after that, like online.
Nice. What are you doing?
Don't tell the other TLI. but yeah.
Interesting. It sounds almost like your journey's kind of been blessed in a way with people, like meeting people, and it,
like, you know how they say like the people in Taiwan, like the people are like the treasure, like the best part of Taiwan. Like I honestly, that was my experience. Like I feel like I was so lucky. Like, but also like Taiwanese people are so rooting, so passionate, so like warm.
Yeah. It's so interesting.